Wow. It's literally arts and crafts day over at this Hummer shop. This is crazy. Oh wait, what is that piece of plastic? What is that? What does that say? Amsoil.
Oh, they cut a bucket up.
They used a bucket, cut it up.
A piece of plastic off of something.
Yeah, or maybe, yeah, it looks like a bucket of some sort. Amsoil bucket. Nothing but the finest in their HVAC systems. Hey folks, welcome back to another vlog. Ryan Wilson here from Predator Inc. We were contacted by a guy and said, hey, I've actually watched a lot of your vlogs and I have a problem with my truck. I need to get it to you, have you go through it. I want you to make sure it's all dialed like they said it was dialed, everything was installed correctly. Report back and let me know what's going on. So I said, no problem. What we have is a situation where a customer got this HVAC problem. I just want my HVAC fixed. I want to have air conditioning back up and running again. They came back and said, oh my gosh, sir, there's so many problems with your truck. All these items need to be fixed for you to be able to drive it. And they shipped it out here. They promised that it was 100% ready to go as an everyday driver. We got it. I walked out and instantly looked down in the corner. We had the wheels kind of cocked off to the right. I saw a brand new tie rod with no grease in it. I'm like, are you serious? And they put 500 miles on this tie rod. Fact is, they didn't see that. I mean, they replaced that item and they didn't grease it. On top of that, they forgot to put all the undercarriage protection on it. There's leaks in the front, in the back. It was driven onto a trailer, driven all the way out to us, and driven off the trailer, no miles put on it, and there's already leaks all over it. Let's get into this and I'll show you what's going on. This is one of the first things that we inspect, are the brake system, which they obviously did not do. They were working on the brakes. See this gap right here? That's e-brake lever right here, connected to this cable. So either the cable is seized in place and not releasing, or the caliper is seized up, which is very common. What happens is it overheats the whole braking system, and there's a couple seals in here that will fail in the diff, and then you gotta replace the seals, pull all the stuff apart. To not see this says a lot. Just to show that this guy is seized in place. On the passenger side, you can see this e-brake arm right here is resting on the stop. This is a stop back here, meaning that there's nothing binding this caliper. Inspection would have caught this, and they had 500 miles, 3 extra weeks to inspect it, yet they missed this. They missed the brake line zip tied in place next to an extremely hot brake system and a very dangerous failure. They routed these loose, flexible brake lines right over the rotors and zip tied them in place. So that's the only thing securing the brake line above the rotor. So when this brake rotor overheats or throws up heat, it's gonna melt that literally a zip tie, a little piece of plastic, and the brake line is gonna fall down on top of the rotor, cut through the rotor. He's gonna lose brake pressure, tremendous amount of brake pressure, and then of course, on top of all of that, potentially catch fire because brake fluid is flammable. Back here, this is actually almost worse because they've got the brake line doing a hard U-turn, and it's actually almost pinching off the line as it makes a radius back, and it comes over and it's wedged onto the caliper. Actually, the portion that clamps down on the rotor, it's wedged inside there, pinching into the brake line. So that guy's gonna need to be replaced. Just showing how loose this crap is. Look at that. Relying on a zip tie to hold it in place after a couple months of going down the road, eventually this thing's gonna wear through just by vibrating down the road. It's not a cushion clamp, it's a friggin' zip tie. The truck was coming here, they knew the truck was coming to our shop. Why did they not even inspect it? They stated they inspected it, but I kind of think that no one really inspected it.
We're gonna replace this left rear caliper. The reason for that is the return spring for the parking brake is starting to jam up. When you release your parking brake up in the front, the parking brake doesn't return all the way back. Remove the pin. All right there. And then the next step Come back behind me, that clip right here, that E-clip. That's the next thing you got to remove this parking brake cable. Now right there, E-clip.
No, can't see it.
What about it?
Now I can see it.
Cable's removed. My next step is going to be removing the half shaft. I went ahead and installed the caliper and installed the brake line.
Trying to focus on it. There you go.
That Brian Kanuski one right there.
Brian Kanuski?
Yep. After the caliper's installed and parking brakes installed, I gotta believe the brake system, because obviously we have to remove the caliper. So you open up the system. Pretty much I just gotta wrap this up, put this cable on. Next we're gonna jump up to the front, replace the differential seals.
Up in the front differential, they did replace the seals. They are brand new. However, these two are both leaking. So coming up in here, see it's wet. Coming over here on this side, still wet right there. Ultimately, seals will fail over time. Sometimes you just get bad seals. The issue is this truck has not been driven by us. It came off of a trailer after it was fully inspected by the entire team over there to make sure that it was 100% daily driver. And it's not. These two are clearly leaking, so we need to get those resealed, inspected, and verify that it is not leaking. Then we're good to go.
So yeah, now we're gonna replace the front differential seals, output seals. If you see right here on this caliper bracket, you see how wet it is. Signs of the front seals leaking. So we're gonna go ahead and pretty much basic procedures as the rear. I gotta remove the half shaft, remove the rotor, caliper, brake pads, the mount, and the hub. So I can remove that seal.
2 more areas here on the transfer case. Huge oversight here. You got the safety cable completely broken in half, literally frayed apart. So what this guy does is it goes through a little mount on the transfer case. In the event that this cross member here fails, the rubber fails or something like that, the transfer case will not shift into the fuel tank and take out the fuel tank. Nice safety feature. And again, it's not something they did, but they definitely did not see that. And even more so than that, a big concern is the transfer case cooling loop. So you have a cooling loop that comes from the transmission and it goes into the transfer case to heat up the transfer case so it's operating at the same temperature as the transmission. And that line is looped, meaning that there's a loop going from here. The transfer case goes back to the transfer case. Inside this transfer case, there is a cooler. There is a chain slop inside this transfer case. Chain will actually kind of stretch out over time. Once it does that, it's called the vampire effect. The chain will come in contact with the cooler and nick 2 little marks like a vampire bit into the cooler. So Once that happens, the transmission fluid will fill up the transfer case and eventually go through the breather system into the air box. A really shoddy repair, and it does look like it's old. So at some point in the past that was done. We'll get that fixed for them, get them back on the road so it's operating safely. But huge oversight with the transfer case being looped, as well as the safety cable being broken off.
This is a common problem that we've seen before with transfer cases, is you get a chain that's inside and it starts wearing down or it starts rubbing into the cooler. This is the cooler for the transfer case. You got the in and out, and on the inside, this would be the inside of the transfer case. This is what happens. The chain starts slapping around and it starts rubbing the cooler. You see right here, this cooler is not from this truck. This is from another transfer case, but it rubbed a little pinhole leak right here. And what happens is, as the transmission is running, it's filling up the transfer case full of transmission fluid. This is a chain that had a little too much slack. As you can see, it should not be moving this much. This is excessive. So the chain is stretched out, and what happens is as it goes around, it was rubbing right down here, and it created a hole. Let me raise this up a little bit. So it rubbed a hole on the cooler right in here. You can see the scratch marks right here. As it's going in circles, it's just rubbing. Of course, right now, not everything's on there, but you see that the chain drags and it hits. You can't see it because it's an internal leak, so you don't see anything on the floor, on the ground. What you will see, transmission fluid coming out of the drive shaft, if you will, or the vent, whichever one it comes out first. You'll eventually run out of transmission fluid for your transmission and you won't go nowhere. You'll end up just stopping or overheating your transmission. So these are all the new pieces that we got for the transfer case to transmission cooler. So you got your 2 lines, your feed, your return, 2 T's, your pressure manifold for the transfer case. This transfer case was replaced at one point. You can tell because the transmission doesn't look the same color as that transfer case. And yeah, this loop shouldn't be there. So we're gonna go ahead and replace this, correct it, get the cooler back in there, and get this guy back on the road. Can you see these two? Yeah. So these have to tie in to the transfer case. So they just pretty much deleted the transfer case and just went from the transmission to the cooler back to the transmission and pretty much deleted the transfer case. So we're gonna go ahead and replace that, get all the correct parts back on it, just like factory, and get this guy back on the road.
Oh, is that really hot glue? Yeah. It's not even silicone?
Hello and welcome to Grouch TV's newest game show, The Trash is Right.
Good stuff.
Yeah. It's literally arts and crafts day over at this Hummer shop. This is crazy. Oh wait, what is that piece of plastic? What is that? What does that say? Amsoil.
Piece of plastic off of something.
Nothing but the finest in their HVAC systems. Just hot glued it in place. Check this out. Amsoil.
Now your job is to match the trash with the owner before the clock runs out.
What a mess. But if something seems wrong at a shop, definitely start questioning it. Look into it, because most likely you're getting scammed. They're using just inferior crap, hot glued in place. And on top of all that, this hot glue was gonna break down in a matter of time anyways. And on top of that, Randy, this is actually a very slick plastic where this hot glue doesn't even bond to it. So there's no way this thing would have held up.
Oh, I love trash. Anything dirty or dingy or dusty. anything ragged or rotten or rusty. Yes, I love trash. It's some more rotten stuff.
This is really why the customer came in. Said, hey, my AC isn't working, I need to get it fixed. Come out and they say, hey, we're gonna give you a new AC system. It's our brand new HVAC system. We're gonna get that installed for you. Said, okay, sounds great. The issue here is the driver's side vent is not connected. That is a huge oversight on their part. We were inside the truck testing out the HVAC system. They actually printed this in red plastic to tell the customer, as it's a prototype piece, it's temporary. I just suspect that the customer is never gonna get this piece, so we're gonna go ahead and cut him a billet aluminum one. We have a CNC shop in-house, so we can get this thing cut in a couple hours and get it anodized in a day or two, and it's back in here or powder coated. With this HVAC system, they're claiming that the airflow is the best in the business, it's absolutely amazing, which is fine. However, they don't have airflow over here. And I said, hey, one of your vents does not work. And I said, it's probably pretty easy. Probably the hose just fell off. I can fix that. He said, no. That's normal. That's what they do on their HVAC system because the doghouse is constructed in a way it doesn't flow very well. So they have to shut that side off to allow it to work properly, which is absolute horseshit. You do not do that. You do not cut off the airflow over here because as a Hummer owner, they know for a fact when this thing fogs up here, the side window fogs up as well, and you can't see out. So what they're relying on is this little vent, and honestly, I don't know if this little vent is even hooked up. It probably isn't because nothing else is hooked up on this side here. This is a huge safety issue right here. You can actually get inside this doghouse, remove the plenum that's in there, and actually get really good airflow out of this. So we're gonna go ahead and do that for the customer. We think we can make this system work, but we'll get it set up and plumbed properly instead of like disabling huge safety features such as defrosting your side window here. It does not work at all. There's some serious issues with it. There is a little defroster here. That doesn't work very well, and I doubt that's even hooked up right now. But this is what Hummer owners always utilize. They throw this over here and it defrosts their window. Now they can see out of their side mirror. We're gonna go ahead and rip into this guy. We're gonna pull out the doghouse and see what's going on. All right, so as you can see, look at this guy right here. This is not hooked up. This is the actual vent. There should be a line over here that goes all the way over to here, but that's not hooked up clearly. And looks like that's the only feed over there. 3D printed piece here. I can clearly see some big issues right here. So you have the ventilation, the airflow coming up like this. It gets jammed into this little pocket in here. Then it has to make a hard 90-degree turn over this way, then a 90-degree turn this way, and then it enters into this plenum system that goes across here. So severely inadequate airflow coming out of this contraption that they've custom printed and designed. This is gonna have to go. We're gonna have to get that other air conditioning line over here for the driver. You can see that guy right there, runs all the way over there. So we'll have to get that plumbed back in here. Once this is completely gone, then the airflow as it comes straight up can vent out and make the runs to the correct locations and actually get some functionality back to this HVAC system. This is the custom one that they have set up, and I can clearly see there is no opening here, which actually is the location for the factory system to run that line over to the side vent. So here we've got a factory system. You can see this little plenum up here, and then it comes over to this vent right here that comes out. This is the one that they blocked off. So let's peel that off and see what we got going on, Randy. You having fun yet, Randy?
Oh yeah, they put a piece of plastic over it.
Oh, really? We've got this thing kind of, I mean, this isn't even sealed up there, look at that. They threw this little, I guess that's supposed to fill in something, I don't know. But look at this, I mean,
There's a piece of plastic.
here's the issue. You've got this airflow that comes up out of their HVAC system, makes a hard bend this way, that way, up and down and around, eventually goes into here. It's just very poorly designed, and it looks like right here. Maybe they printed up a piece of plastic or they got something in there blocking it off. And you can see over here, that's the factory setup. And this is the vent that goes over to that driver's window.
And what it would do, it would increase your airflow because you're closing off a vent.
Yeah, so it would increase the airflow. And that is one thing that they've been touting is their airflow is extremely well. Well, yeah, if you close off all the vents, the airflow is amazing, right?
Oh yeah. Those
Really
vents
simple.
are really good over there.
Close everything off, have one vent that works. It's amazing. So we'll get this thing figured out. Oh, what are we doing, Randy?
They put a piece of plastic.
Hey, don't hurt yourself. You may want to cut this back to a little bit further because it's
farther.
they've got it covered over pretty good. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, they have it on the inside. Look at that. They wedged it onto the inside. Pull this stuff back. Yeah, I could probably move my hand out of Randy's firing zone. Here, just push it in. Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh. So yeah, a little bit of clear silicone, glue that thing in place.
So
completely cut out that airflow there.
Apparently they took the whole thing apart because they got fat mat on the inside.
And again, here's the factory one. So they gutted this whole area out and then put a little block off plate to increase airflow over to the driver vents, which are right over here. So I think what we're gonna end up doing, oh, Randy got it out, check this out.
Hot glue.
Oh, is that really hot glue?
No.
It's not even silicone?
No, it's hot glue.
That's funny.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Wow. It's literally arts and crafts day over at this Hummer shop. This is crazy. Oh wait, what is that piece of plastic? What is that? What does that say? Amsoil.
Oh, they cut a bucket up.
They used a bucket, cut it up.
A piece of plastic off of something.
Yeah, or maybe, yeah, it looks like a bucket of some sort. Amsoil bucket. Nothing but the finest in their HVAC systems. And then just hot glued it in place. What a mess. If something seems wrong at a shop, definitely start questioning it. Look into it, because most likely you're getting scammed. They're using just inferior crap, hot glued in place. And on top of all that, this hot glue was gonna break down in a matter of time anyways. And on top of that, Randy, is this is actually a very slick plastic where this hot glue doesn't even bond to it. So there's no way this thing would have held up.
Yeah. Well, the air was pushing it in.
Oh, positive pressure, see?
Yeah.
That's where their engineering came into play. The positive pressure pushed against the hot glue that's barely holding it together against their Amsoil block off plate. Check this out. Amsoil. This is crazy. I mean, it just gets worse and worse. What do you think, Dazzle? Do you think we should probably rip all of this out and just run new airlines, because
No.
their setup does not have enough airflow?
I'd have to tear their whole unit out.
Here, check this out, Dazzle. Maybe we can just cut this off right here in place, save a lot of time for the customer, have Josh design out a new piece that we can print and then attach on here, or put our HVAC system in there. Yeah, this
All
thing's...
they did was put electronic blend doors in it, into a stock unit. They made their piece up here,
Which
put
is-
electronic blend doors in it.
So it has the same fan as the factory one?
It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't have the swoop and the flowing pieces here. The factory one comes out.
So a factory one comes out here
I'll
more.
have to get a factory one.
They've
to
got
show
this
you.
pinched off. Wow. Oh my gosh, Randy. This opening in here is literally like this wide.
Yeah. The factory or the unit we make will put out a lot more air.
This is crazy. And on top of that, I think they charge like
And it goes,
$8,000 to $10,000.
and I can make all the vents hook up.
Why don't you take a look at it and let me
Get this off
know?
and let's see what's behind there.
Because I don't want to throw, you know, good money after bad on this. I'd rather just toss this whole system if it's not going to work properly. Or maybe we can use the factory ductwork.
Put this
Maybe we can
factory
do that.
ductwork back in it and
Okay.
come off of that.
What we're looking at is removing all of their crap off of there. Then taking this. So this is a little problem. On the Alpha Hummer, it has this little piece that comes out here. What we think we could do is shave out about an inch or so of this material right here, still keeping the airflow for the defrosters. So the defrosters will still operate properly, but we can get a little bit more room here and then build a whole new plenum right here with individual air ducts and the correct amount of air ducts to open up airflow to the driver's side and have really good airflow all across the board. Now this HVAC system is a factory HVAC system. Nothing special about it. It's not a tremendous amount of airflow. It's completely stock. It's got the new electric motors over here, which comes with the Alphas. So it's not like this amazing system. It's a factory system that's been kind of retrofitted to work on this truck, on the older style trucks. So how much room do you have?
We have quite a bit. You can probably get Josh in here. You can probably look at it, take some measurements.
Let me see.
Not right back here.
Oh yeah, you got plenty of room.
Yeah.
Okay, let me grab Josh, and then maybe what we can do is just have him design it out here and have the pieces printed out.
Yeah,
I think that'll be the easiest.
And he can measure off this. He knows how much room he has to work with it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.